Thanks, Chris. Hello, everyone. I'm going to be talking about hedgerow heroes, or really a way that we can encourage people to get more involved in monitoring hedges around their community and supporting sort of Fife-wide efforts to improve them. This was really inspired by an FCAN workshop that Magda put together, which was run by Megan Gimber from the People's Trust for Endangered Species. So I'm just going to share my screen and run through some slides and tell you why hedgerows are really important, and if you can help spread the word and get people involved in your area, that would be great. So we've started trying to promote hedgerow monitoring using this app from People's Trust for Endangered Species. It's about asking people to go out in their local area and undertake some simple measurements of hedgerows, which they then map into a collective space where we can all see the quality of hedgerows, length of hedgerows, and then from that get some ideas on how we can manage them. Obviously, landowners are a very important part of that mix, so it's a much more, whilst this is a citizen science kind of activity, anyone can do it. The information will then be used by different partners, groups, working with landowners to actually undertake the improvements, and they might not be, they could take quite a long time. We're working in the east of Fife, and this is part of a project that's trying to connect our nature spaces, working with landowners across quite a large area, engaging with them on this and providing them with information on how they can support biodiversity, but also run their business or improve their offer to their customers, or even just for themselves. So it's a much more, and we recognise that other partners across Fife, like Fife Coast and Countryside Trust, Fife Council, are also doing similar things. So it's if you're doing it out with the area where I'm working, doesn't matter. It's still going to be useful, and hopefully, from an FCAN point of view, we'll be able to then influence other policy or actual work in the future. Hedgerows have always been an important part of our landscape. They're thousands of years old in many places. I think the oldest one down in the southwest of England is something like 3,000 years. So they're incredibly important part of the countryside and how it looks. But they are in decline, and they've been grubbed out, destroyed, but also poorly managed for many years, and we are losing a lot of them. But they're also this vital place for nature. They create wildlife corridors, but they also were put in and maintained by for providing multiple functions, multiple sort of benefits to humans, whether it's stock proofing, providing shelter to animals and stock, reducing soil loss, erosions, sequestering, helping with water, controlling water moving through pest control. So they're a really valuable part of the countryside, and we're also recognising the benefit in terms of carbon storage, not just above the ground, but below it as well, as they influence the soil carbon. And the biodiversity that's found in hedgerows can be substantial. Just this survey here, an 85-metre length of hedge down in the southwest was found to have over 2,000 species living in or on it or in it, and that's just mind-blowing. So they can be incredibly diverse if they're well managed, and they tick a lot of boxes because of their structure, the way that they're linked to the ground, that they're building, their structure can go right the way up to the top. They're a transition sort of area between shaded areas or sort of heavily and the linkage as well between lots of different habitats. So when we're asking people to go out and do a survey, it's fairly straightforward. Anyone can learn these skills. You're looking for a tall, whether it's tall and wide, so that obviously provides more volume for wildlife, dense and even, so we're not getting patches or breaks in the cover. You've got a really good dense bottom layer. So you'll see on a lot of poorly managed hedgerows or aging hedgerows that the bottom layer has either disappeared or is very weak. What we want is a hedgerow that's going right down to the ground, because that's where a lot of insects and beasties are going to be found, and mammals, etc. And the nesting birds are also where they're foraging from. So just looking at a hedgerow, we can see there a dense, one that's in good condition with cover right the way down to the ground. And then you've got on the left one that's been left, and the hedges, the plants within them have then gone on to become trees, and you're losing that ground cover, or they become topped by continuous hedge management along the top, not the sides, and then you get these hard knuckles forming and a reduction in space, and eventually those plants will die off as well because they're not regenerating. So the app, Healthy Hedgerows, you can download it onto your phone. It takes you through how to monitor. You're asked to find a space. We've got a shared map on Google, which you can look at, identify where you want to go. But you can also just look on the app as well, and it show you which hedgerows have already been monitored in your area. Choose your area, and then we're using the Adams Hedgerow Management Scale, which, don't worry about it, it's really just a visual guide on the quality of hedge that you're looking at. So it will have indications of on a 12-point scale of where the hedge is in its cycle of regeneration, renewal, or poor management. And then you're counting, you're measuring. It's good to go out with a stick or a tape measure that can give you an idea of height and depth of the hedge, so you can stick a stick that you know the length of as well. I don't mean just any old stick, just try and get an idea, and it's a rough sort of idea as well. Once you've entered that information, you can do it. You're doing it on site. It then gets uploaded to the data set that it can come back and give management recommendations for the landowner. But we'll probably, as a project, we'll probably collate those and then work with the landowner and contact them to discuss the best way forward. So this diagram shows the management cycle of a hedgerow. So hedgerows, to keep them in that regenerative sort of process, there's usually a cycle of either coppicing them or laying them every 25 years, 50 at the maximum. And it's this sort of magical way that if you smash a plant down, it will regenerate with new growth, and it can then go on living. If you don't do that, then it will age and eventually die. So we're looking at this sort of cycle. A lot of these hedgerows which are in really poor condition, is probably worth coppicing, cutting them right down, replanting, gap filling with new plants, and then the cycle begin again. Whereas the process of coppicing and laying hedges, is much more lengthy, and you need a bit of training for that, as well as some pretty hefty tools. But it's a really nice skill to have, and has been lost from the countryside to a certain extent. So there's some really great training available. Fife Coast Countryside Trust do it, but there's also pockets on different farms where you can go and get that training as well. So we've got we're asking people, to submit to if they're wanting to allocate areas, if they want to do that on our map, if they're from our area. We'll also do another training session, just an online course coming up on the 29th of June, July, and sorry, that is June. Yeah, 29th of June, not July. So if you're interested, sign up.